Last November, the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Dr. Bernard Doro, assumed office following his appointment and inauguration by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Dr. Doro succeeded Professor Netanwe Yewata, who is currently the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC. Joining us on this show to discuss his time in office so far, getting durable solutions to internal displacement in Nigeria, challenges of IDPs, and what has been done, is Dr. Bernard Doro, Nigeria's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Good morning, Minister, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Doro, thank you for joining us at Arise News. Very quickly, you've been in the saddle since November 2025. Now, how far? What have you done? Considering the fact that the major problem that we face in Nigeria is, about 7.1 million people displaced. They are in internally displaced persons camps. About 30 million persons, generally, majorly from the Northwest and the Northeast, also displaced, internal refugees in their own country. Now, what have you been able to do since you assumed the mandate for addressing this problem, and what are the challenges that you have faced?
Thank you so much. Working alongside the agency that is tasked with this responsibility, and myself as the supervising minister, that is the National Commission for Refugee, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. We have been working very hard alongside development partners to be able to resettle quickly IDPs in the different camps. And, based on what has been done so far, I think we have been able to achieve a better result. The figures you've quoted, I think to my knowledge, those are people in different IDP camps at the moment stands at about 3.7 spread across the country. And we have been working very hard to ensure their resettlement. But we first of all meet the humanitarian needs in the first place. And our plan and desire is that we're able to then graduate them, once we resettle them, graduate them to part of resilience and to independence.
All right. So I appreciate the fact that this is now, the focus, one of the focus of your ministry, especially as you've identified, we have quite a staggering number of people who are still displaced internally. Now you talk about the, efforts you're going to make. Can you break it down for us? And can you give us a timeline when this administration hopes to achieve that?
Yes, it is not easy to just provide a timeline to say that in 6 months' time, for example, we will resettle all individuals currently in ID camp, because we're still facing challenges of humanitarian challenges. We're still facing crisis, and displacement in our country is multifactorial. Apart from crises that causes displacement, issues of climate and what have you also contributes to displacement. But currently, what we are doing is to ensure that those in IDP camps at the moment are being supported by being provided humanitarian assistance, and we're working with partners, like I said, to try and resettle them as quickly as we can.
I understand you, sir. I'm not asking for a timeline of, because I understand you don't want to put yourself in a corner where we would then hold you to account later on. But what I'm asking for is just, okay, we're going to do this in this phase, do that in this, just to give Nigerians something to hold on to. Projects must be smart, specific, measurable, time-bound. So just a time frame, not saying all IDPs will be here, but at least, okay, by this time, we'll have these people, just to give people something to hold on to rather than a broad response.
Okay. Yeah, so one of the initiatives, and maybe just before I say that, the issues of displacement in our country is not just a humanitarian issue, it is a development issue. It is an economic issue as well. And one of the things we are doing currently in Lagos in the last 2 days is working with the private sector so that we can provide market-based solution to the IDP crisis in our country. So, like I said, it will be difficult for a timeline, but what we are looking to do is to ensure that the people currently in IDP camps are provided with the support needed. We're trying to provide, we're providing infrastructure, we're building homes, to try in areas where crises have abated to be able to resettle the individuals in our camp as soon as possible. Okay. Very difficult for me to put a timeline on that.
Okay, Minister, a couple of things. I'm good to see you and welcome to this position. And I'm talking from the point of view of a stakeholder, because your predecessor, I worked closely with him in this IDP space. In fact, I've been working in Benue with a couple of IDP, raising charity funds for them for over 10 years with partners like CESO Foundation. Yeah. But the case is bad in most of the IDP camp. Water is a big problem. Drug is a big problem. Thirdly, do you have a record of these 3.67 million people that are on all the IDP camps? I mean, their phone number, their contacts, how you can reach them, and probably their bank account. And his money is being allotted to them. And secondly, I want to work with you and I want to help out. Do you have money to execute? Okay. What was your budget last year? How much did they give you? We just want honesty and transparency. How much did you push forward as a budget? Were you given the amount you required to do this job?
Thank you so much, and thank you for your offer to work with me so that we can resolve this issue, and we welcome every support that we can get. In terms of the figure, it is very difficult because of to just tell you that this number is exact, but it is estimated around 3.7 million. The reason is this is not a static situation. The issue of displacement in our country is a dynamic one. And so there are movements, you're resettling people, others are being added, but we have broadly the figure of around 3.7 million. And to those who are in IDP camps at the moment, most of them are documented, and we do have access to most of them that are currently residing in IDP camps. So in terms of budget, yes.
Do you have access to all of them or most of them? If you say most of them, what's the number? About 2 million or 3 out of 3.7 million? Do you have access to all of them or most of them? So we just get clarity so that we know how to work together.
So documenting people, and if you're having people being added to the camps, which is more on a probably every other day when there are crises here, people, be it either crisis or when you have climate-related issues, people move in. It takes some time to document them. I don't want to give you any answers that I cannot be able to provide evidence for. But what I'm telling you at the moment, that majority of the people in IDP camps, we've got their details, and we've got their biodata, that we can't be able to access them. But this is something that is changing on a daily basis. And I hope you are satisfied with that answer. If I tell you that I'm giving you the phone number, just okay.
But let's move to the next question. Let's move to the next question of how much you got and how much funding you need. But I'm not satisfied with that last answer, because we should be able to say, okay, we have over 1 million or 2 million, that we have their database and all of that. So, but it's fine. Let's go to the what's it called? How much you got and how much you require to be able to do this job.
Again, last year, money is coming from different sources to be able to help us with IDP, to manage the IDP situation. And in terms of the actual figure that was, given last time, I can't give you that at the moment. But like you said, we need funding, and we're getting support. What was put in the budget line is being released. Obviously, not everything has been released so far, but in terms of also support from development partners, as you are aware, this is also shrinking. So we are not getting as much as we used to receive from development
Minister, how
partners.
much is it?
Because,
How much is it?
international
Before we
community
go,
support.
how much is it? How much did you ask for? How much did you get from the budget line last year? Let's just put a figure to these things because of accountability.
No.
Okay.
Minister, very quickly.
I
Very
resume
quickly.
office, Rufai. Yes. Go on.
Go ahead, Minister.
Did you want to say something? Or?
Go ahead. No, go ahead and speak so that Doctor will ask his question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I resumed office in November last year, Rufai, and at this point, what I'm saying is that I cannot put a figure because the 3.7 million IDP comes out, it's just a recent figure. This thing changes on a day-to-day basis. And,
I'm asking for money.
And as I was saying...
Minister, I'm asking for the money you got. We are not talking about IDPs again. We're asking for money that has been released to you. How much is it? But we don't have time. Dr. Abazi, please go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Doro, I would like to ask you about the major project of your ministry, which is a poverty exit strategy. Now, the IMF, the World Bank, when they intervene, they talk about social protection. Now, under your ministry, we have heard about National Social Register, people being given certain grants for them to be able to survive. Where are we with that? And what is the level of coordination at the states and local government levels? Because some people say, oh, they are poor. Their name is not on the National Social Register. I've looked at the register that you people publish. I did not see my name there. So there are many of us that have been excluded. The challenge is about exclusion. So how are you managing all of that?
Okay. Yeah, so talking about the the National Social Register, it's not every poor person at the moment in the country that has been captured, because the target started with the poorest of the poor. At the moment, we have about 17.9 million vulnerable households that have been captured in the register, which translates to around 70 million individuals in that register. We are continuing to expand the register to capture as many people as possible. Now, the register is a product of geography. Is a product of community engagement, and so we rely on the community based on the set of questions around socioeconomic data to be able to identify the poorest of the poor. And so communities will guide us based on the questions that we have and the criteria that we have to be able to identify who is poor amongst them. And then we take steps also to validate these when we visit their homes. We look at the conditions of the homes. We also look at their own personal data, and we use this to be able to target who is the poorest of the poor. Our desire is to ensure that every Nigeria is captured in the national social register. And just for context, there is a difference between the national social register and the benefit register. So when programs are planned, you then target individuals based on the nature of the program that you are delivering. And for example, we currently offering conditional cash assistance in conjunction with the World Bank, but this money is actually meant as a shock response, and so not everyone within the 17.9 million household in the register is in the benefit register. The benefit register is around 15 million vulnerable household. So if your name is not there, Dr. Abati, probably you're not amongst the poorest of the poor, or maybe your community have not actually identified you as one, and what have you. But we are continuing to expand the register. Hopefully we can capture the entire nation in the register.
Okay,
but the fact that we've captured... Okay,
sorry to
yes.
cut you short. Just responding to time constraints. Before we go, the major challenge with your ministry is transparency and accountability. You recall the scandal that one of your predecessors had. So Nigerians just think that this Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, people just go there to make money for themselves. So how do you assure us, and also assure the people in the IDPs, that during your tenure, there will be transparency and accountability, and we will not summon you subsequently to come and explain to us how certain billions have been managed?
Thank you so much for that question. Yes, the fact that the ministry has a history cannot be disputed. I came from the diaspora, and the reason why I accepted to do this job is because I believe that I can make a difference. I believe that I can lead in a transparent way. So I put myself forward to say that judge me at the end of the day. But one thing I can tell you is that on resuming office, we have looked at what has happened. We have looked at the issue around our branding. We have also looked at the issue around what had been done previously. And we have come up with a robust program that we believe will help to reposition the ministry, and will make sure that our delivery reach the intended beneficiaries. And we are coordinating across line ministries. We are putting the National Social Register central as a central tool for targeting the poor, and our processes are digitized to ensure that we have full audit trail of all our interventions.
All right.
So again, I can't do much regarding the past, but what I can do is regarding the future.
Absolutely. Very quickly, a quick question, because you're talking about the IDP and you couldn't give a timeline when they would have a full rehabilitation of people in the IDP currently. Let's talk about protection for them in the interim. We've heard very gory stories that have come out of the IDP camps. Sexual exploitation, malnutrition, silent deaths, corruption with monies intended not going to the people intended for. In the interim, before we resettle these members of society, how do you plan to protect these people whilst they're still in the camps?
Yes, while the persons of concern are still in the camp, we're working with relevant stakeholders and also being accountable to the civil society organizations and working with our development partners, working with the security organizations to ensure that those who are in the IDP camps are well protected and given the necessary protection as citizens of this country. So we are well aware of that, and where we find criminality, we refer this to relevant authorities to be able to deal with this. And we are working very hard to ensure that the dignity of individuals in the IDP camp are maintained.
All right.
We will continue to do that.
Well, thank you very much for your time with us this morning, Dr. Bernard Doro, the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction.